So I just watched, or I am still watching, Behind the Mic, the making of the Harry Potter full cast audio editions. And if you don't know, I'm a huge Harry Potter fan. I read all of the books in German, in English. I bought them as hard cover books. I still have the English ones. I really want to read them again, but yeah, I just haven't gotten around kind of carrying a hardcover book with me. So I am actually thinking of buying the books again as ebooks or Kindle edition books, or I don't know, any other ebook type. Maybe you can recommend, if you're not in the Amazon space, what kind of ebooks you usually buy. I listened to the German audiobooks by Rufus Beck, but also the English versions, which were amazing. I didn't know which reader was doing those books, but now they are re-releasing all of the books in the full cast audio edition. I already bought the first one, the second one, and I'm currently listening to the third one, and I was really surprised when I saw in the cast Hugh Laurie, who played Dr. House, and I was like, oh, okay, who else is in those books or in this version of the books? And I found this making of, and I was really surprised to see Keira Knightley, Kit Harington, who played You know nothing, Jon Snow. Jon Snow in Game of Thrones. And there were a couple of, Riz, I forgot his last name. The one who played the pilot in Rogue Squad? No, Rogue One, Star Wars Rogue One, which is one of the few newer Star Wars movies that I really enjoyed. But he also played in Venom. And one of the movies where I knew him from, which was one of the very first one, that was called Four Lions, which was a humoristic take on... This sounds really terrible, the way I describe it, but it is a humoristic take on terrorists, and he plays one of them, and it's making fun of terrorism. So it is actually, I think it was a really good film, and I believe that was one of his very first breakout roles. Really like that movie. It's a British movie. Anyways, I watched this making of, and I wanted to give you a little bit of a review about these full cast editions on Audible, coming from a person who read all of the books multiple times in 2 different languages, listened to all of the versions of the Harry Potter audiobooks in multiple versions, because in Germany you have the Rufus Beck version, but also another one. And I actually bought the first one. They actually re-recorded it with Rufus Beck because he was actually better, in my humble opinion. And you could argue, I'm not going into if Amazon is doing a cash grab here, and if I kind of threw away a lot of money. I'm a big fan of the story, and yeah, I'm not going into any controversy here, because I like the story, and from a person who knows the stories ins and out. Obviously, I also watch the movies. Now listening to these full cast audio versions, I can honestly say these are amazing. It is such a pleasure to listen to an audiobook that has multiple, how you say it, narrators, readers, actors who play out different roles of the book. If I had to choose, I probably rather prefer a really good narrator who kind of reads you the book with his or her different voices. I kind of enjoyed it a little bit more because in my mind it's kind of like laying in bed and my dad is reading from book or my mom is reading from book. So it has a different approach to it. That being said, listening to this full cast audiobook, if it's done properly with really good actors and voice artists, then it's actually really enjoyable. I bring this up because I don't know which book it was, but I feel like it was one of the Star Wars books where they had multiple different actors reading out different characters, and I didn't enjoy it that much. I rather would have had one of my preferred voice artists doing the whole book. But in this case, with the Harry Potter full cast edition, you can clearly see they put a lot of effort and obviously a lot of money into this to make this story come alive and make it, somewhat of a cinematic, dare I say it, experience. Yes, obviously you cannot say cinematic because I don't see it, but because there is so much care taken in the way the actors act the voices out, but also with all of the extra sound effects, the mixing is really, really good. Hold on. There was something where I was like, no, let me do this. In the first two books, Dumbledore sounded a little bit weird in terms of audio quality. It felt like he was recording in a completely different studio. So let me take that a little bit back. But in the third book, Dumbledore does sound good. So, but in the first two books, Dumbledore didn't have that many spaces where it was that bad. But long story short, even though that was something that I didn't really like, overall, my experience so far is extremely positive. So if you are a Harry Potter fan, and if you want to kind of re-listen to it again, then I can recommend the full cast audio versions of the books. I really enjoy them. Looking forward to the Goblet of Fire. So the next one, I'm almost done with the third audiobook. Because while the third one is good, it actually was, when I started with Harry Potter, I was always under the impression, especially when watching the movies. So I started with the movies. When I saw the first one, I thought like, oh, this is a kids thing. It's not that great. But then I tried the third one. So I left it alone. I never watched the second one. And I thought like, okay, let's watch the third one. It's running on TV or streaming. I didn't remember what it was. And I was like amazed how dark it was. It was really entertaining. And the third one, the third movie, really brought me into the Harry Potter space. I watched all of the movies, rewatched the first two ones, and I didn't think they were really good. And then I thought like, okay, this is not that bad actually. And then I started reading the books, and then I was hooked. I was completely hooked. So long story short again, it's really enjoyable. So my verdict on the full cast editions is highly recommend them, with the caveat that in the first two books, the parts from Dumbledore sounded a little bit weird in terms of audio quality, but everything else was amazing. So highly recommend. If you have listened to Harry Potter, the full cast edition, let me know what you think about that. And yeah, if you want to see yesterday's video, check it out up here. YouTube thinks they like the video down here. And don't forget to subscribe by clicking the button up here. That way we will see each other tomorrow. Thank you very much.